Hi all, so welcome to the next tutorial. So previously we have imported this car and we have created the hierarchy of the folders like this. I have colored this visual as white because it just don't give me the interest. Okay, so if you will go to the content, so today what we will do, we will create a class. It will be the chaos vehicle. We will create a pawn, and if time gives us the permission, that vehicle will be up and running. So first what you have to do, you have to go to the plugins. You have to turn on chaos vehicle. Chaos vehicle is not here. Okay, so I have just enabled it already, so just click here and restart it. So you will as you will start, if you will click right, go to the blueprint. If you will click vehicle, just wheel vehicle pawn. If you will hover over it, you can see in the comments it is saying that chaos wheel vehicle. So we just have enabled that, but we want the C++ version and our project was the blueprint version. So what we have to do, we have to go on tools, go to new C++ class. We have to create the same hierarchy as we have in blueprint. So just go to the all class, write vehicle, and hover over it, just vehicle wheel pawn. We just want that, click next. And I have created it already, but inside the characters folder, and I have named it as C underscore the ch underscore car base. It is giving me the error because I have the same class name already. So you have to just click create class. After you will press next, it will give you an error. So to remove this error, just go to the project folder, right click the U project like this and generate Visual Studio project file. As soon as you will do this, you will get this file, and inside the file you will have the files which we have created, the c underscore ch underscore car base. Go to the cpp. Here it will be like character. It will be like this, so just remove it. We have to just remove the folder name. You ask why? Because it is already, the both files are in the same folder, so we don't have to specify. Okay, so as we have everything in place, if it doesn't show up in your project C++ classes, just restart it and it will do it for you. Okay, so inside the character we have c underscore ch underscore car base. So we want the same representation of this file inside the blueprint, right? So go to the character BP, just right click it, go to the blueprint class. We will parent it to c underscore ch underscore car base. Yep, and we will name it as ch underscore car base. Okay, so we have these two class connected. If you will open this in the parent class, you can see that it is connected to the C++ version. Okay, maybe it is taking much time today. Hmm. Yep, so it is up and running. So what we have to do in vehicle class, we have different options, but we have already a mesh. We have already the vehicle movement component where we can specify the engine, the wheels and everything. Okay, so we will do that today. So the first thing first, we will specify the mesh first, but let me put it here. We want this car, so we will just browse it, just click here, go to the mesh and put it here. So we have our car in place. Yeah, just look carefully that these the car forward axis should be to the x, so it is x, so we are good to go. Next is we have to specify the blueprint because we don't have the anim class for this. We will create that first. So inside the character BP, okay, we have to, okay, so it will be a good idea if I will put the textures inside this folder. Yeah, just to like clean this space up. Most of the textures are irrelevant because we have replaced it with the automobile, uh, so we can delete that afterwards. As Unreal moving the stuff, what we can do, we can create some component inside the character car character class. So as we do have the camera component and the spring arc component inside our character, so we do have the same concept inside the vehicle character too. So we have to create those components, right? So go to the header file. I will just create the section, the public, protected, and the private. So uh, uh, I will put the movement functions here, and functions. Okay. So first I need a function for, see, like I will have for the straight, we have to bind a function like move forward. For left and right, we should have some function, right? So these two function, one function I want from break, so we would have three function, and one for the lookup. So we will have to create those functions. So one is move forward and backward, so move FB. Next is void move, uh, okay, we will have different move forward, move backward. I will create the two functions for that. Void move right left RL. So okay, so one for the break, void break pressed, void break released. Okay, I want to function for look also, but I will do that afterwards. I should do it here. Okay, so what I will do, look up, sorry, void look up, void look right left, and it will be up down. So basically what we are doing here, uh, see, like we have to put, we have to give these functions input, that where I'm looking, like from up I will like +1 to -1. Yeah, so they should have the float value. So void, sorry, float value, float value. It will be same for the move forward value, backward, right left, and we don't need for these because it will be the actions like bind actions, and these will be the bind axis. If you don't get it, I will explain it. Okay, so just don't worry. So we have the intelligence in place of the Visual Studio, so I can just alt enter. Okay, ReSharper is thinking. That's an issue. I think it is still compiling the code. uh, Maybe we can get some help. After right clicking, go to the definition. Okay, so if it is not giving us error, so what we have to do, we have to create that manually. So void move forward, forward, but we have to give the class. So we have to do this for all the functions. Okay, uh, for move forward, okay, just Let me just copy it and paste it here. So I have created all the definitions, okay, of the functions here. So now the thing we have to put the bindings on. So we have override this class. So we have the parent class of a wheeled vehicle component. If you will click control button and click over it, okay, it is still compiling. So what? See, it is the child of the character class, and character class is the child of the pawn class. So the pawn class is Papa, father of the character class, and the character we can see this a pawn. Okay. So the functions which are available in the pawn, we can access it here. So for the binding function, we already have it. So void, it is the sorry, to override that function. So virtual void setup player input component, you input component star player input component override. Uh, okay, so under this function we can write our bindings. Okay, so just copy it, and we have to create the declaration inside the CPP file. Okay, to go to the CPP file. Okay, give it the class. Okay, so we have input. Now I will bind these functions which are below. Okay, move forward, float value. Yep. Okay, so we will create our component, the camera component. So for this we will use the u property. Why we are writing the u property? Because if you want some variable to interact with the blueprint, so we have to put the u property macro for the variables. Okay, so blueprint read write edit anywhere. I'm just writing these what do we say? Okay, so spring arm component, spring arm. uh, I will do the same for the camera component, u camera component. Okay, so you must be guessing why usually we put u or a in front of the class names. A stand for the actor, because at the parent class of this vehicle we have, it is the actor is the parent class, you can say. Okay, so here we specify u, or the Unreal specify u just because these are the utilities. Okay, we have placed class because we don't want to include the definition here. Like, I'm not putting any include for these files. So I'm just specifying it that it will be a class which I will do include in the later. Okay, so uh, okay, next thing, we haven't the constructor for this class, so I will create that too in the public section, because so I can access it from the other classes too. Okay, so we have everything in place. Okay, so my functions are available. I can just right click and generate implementation, and it will be created for me. Or if these options are not available to you, you can just create like we did it before. Okay, so inside the constructor we have to specify, we have to give definition to these components. Okay, so first was spring arm, uh, spring arm. What is the name of? Okay, spring arm, create default subobject of view spring arm component. It will be of text. I will name it as spring arm. Okay, let's copy it. I will be using the u camera component. We name it as camera. It will be a camera component. Just, yep, spring arm. I will put C so we can uh, see the difference. Okay. Next thing, we will attach it to the root, the spring arm. So spring arm C dot. Okay. So the functions are not available because we haven't included the header file of this US spring arm component. That is why we are not having the functions. Okay. So for the U spring arm component, just click left control button and left click it. So inside U spring arm component, if you will hover over it, you can get the path. Just read it after the engine. Okay, the complete path is okay after the class. So it is in game framework. Next is game framework, then spring arm component. So we will do the same. Include game framework spring arm component. So now its function should be available. Yeah, see now these are available. So setup attachment root component. So this variable root component will be the part of the parent classes. That is why these this because we haven't defined this variable. Yep. So it is the already given variable which is from the parent class. So we have set up. So I will take the spring arm length to 600, length to 600. Okay, next is the camera. I will put the camera to the spring arm. So camera c dot setup. Okay, so same thing with camera. We don't have any functions, right? See, we don't have any functions. So just click U camera component. Look for the path. Hover over it. It is in camera, then camera component. So just include it. Camera component. Yep. So these functions should be available now. Yep. So setup attachment. I will attach it to spring arm C. Yep. Now everything should be good to go. Okay, so just save it everything and compile. Just Control Shift B. We haven't put any bindings yet, so we will do that next. Okay, it is succeeded. Go back to the unveil. If you will go to the character BP, see we have the camera, we have the spring arm. Yeah, but we have the attachment in place? Okay, go in the view print. Yep. Okay, but the next thing is I want my spring arm like on the top of this, and I want the rotation along pitch. Yep, around 10. The sorry, it will be like -10. Yep. So I have defined it here, but we can do in the C++ file. So I have set for the location and the rotation, right? So we will do the same. So spring C setup location, set relative location. Yeah. So f vector. So it will be 0 comma 0 comma z value will be 140. 140, yeah. Let's close it. Next thing, the set relative rotation. So new, sorry, the F rotator. So it will be, yep, it was pitch. So minus 10. Next, your 0, roll 0. Just close it and we can compile it. So we don't have to do this here. Just reset it all as soon as we are done. Succeed. Just close it, because it always, sometimes it gives an error. So it is a nice idea to just close the file and open it again. So just reset it. See, we do have those values in place as default one. Go to the viewport and we have this setup here. Okay, if you will drag this car inside the level, it is looking good. Like, let me stretch that by 100. Okay. It is looking good. And if we will possess it, okay, okay, I'm not possessing it. Let me click it over it, and I will click on auto possess player 0. I'm doing this just for now. Okay, the camera is working fine, but I'm pressing the button, but it is not working. I'm moving the mouse, but that is not working because we haven't set up any bindings. It is already 21. I will just do go with the blueprint, and we will do the bindings later. So inside the mesh, go to the skeleton, click right, create the NMBP. Uh, NMBP, so A, BP, BPA. This is the standards. BP is for blueprint, A for the animation underscore. Okay. So first thing, it will not be the anim instance because it is a vehicle. So just go to the class settings and click vehicle animation instance. As we have changed the parent class, the functions will be available which are related to the vehicle. Okay, go to the wheel controller, just click it to the outpost. Okay, next thing, we want the reference. What I'm doing, I'm just getting the mesh reference and getting the component, and we want wheel controller to be controlled, like the movement of the wheel when we will press W, and this is the output. This is the standard blueprint for the vehicle. Just combine just CS and close it. So inside the ch character base, go to the mesh. We have already set up the skeleton mesh, but we haven't the anim class, so we have just created the BPA underscore car. Compile, save, yes. So we have everything in place, right? Mm-hmm. Yep, everything is fine now. Okay. Next is, we can create the bindings for the next tutorial. So edit, project setting, go to the input, because we don't have any bindings, because in Unreal we have created the functions but we don't have the bindings. So we will create those first. So for the action mapping, I will go for the brake first, brakes, and for brake I will use the space bar. Next, for the axis mapping, I will create it move forward, will be W. You can have more if you want. Next is move backward, press S. Next is for left and right. No, no, like this. Move left and right. So move left and right, LR. and for the left hand side I will use for right hand side I will use D. Make sure that D have the positive one and A have the minus one. So next mapping I want for the look up and the look left and right for the mouse. So look up, it will be the mouse Y, and the, yep, because I will just move up and down. And next will be move look left right. Actually it will be more precise if we will like look up down. LR, it will be like mouse X. Yep, and so this thing should be good to go. For the bindings, now we can specify, we can bind these things here, but we have to keep the spelling same. So first, always remember, if you are overriding some functions, which we did, yep, if you will go to the A vehicle pawn, so if you will go up, it is the child of the A pawn. Go to the A pawn. So inside here, if you will look for the setup setup player input, see, we do have these functions inside this class. That is why we can override it. Here they have specified that it is a virtual function. Yep, so virtual function means we can override it, we can give the definition of this function. Okay, we can also override these functions which are given, and it is in the protected. Okay, so we have done the same inside the inside our pawn. If you will look in the header file, we have done this inside the protected, and we have give this function a definition. Let's imagine that we will create a child class of this car base, so we can still be able to override this function because we have specified it as a virtual and we are overriding it. Okay, next thing, okay, so let's start the binding. So yep, next thing, always remember that if we override some function, just make sure to call super. Always good idea, or else you will get some error. Yep, so player input component. Yep, let's start the bindings. Player input component bind access f name. So first will be move forward to this. Next I have to give the path of the function. So AC, it is for the forward, so forward, move forward. I will just copy paste it, so I will just fill these things out. I have one for the forward, another one was for the move backward. I have like move forward, move backward, yeah. So backward. Next is we have access for move left and right. So move left, move LR it was, so, and move RL, yep. Next is for look up and look up down and look LR. So look up down, look up down, and look LR. So look RL. Okay. So we have binding these functions. So to check if we have binding them successfully, what we can do, just write a UE log. This is the macro which is provided by the Unreal, just to to get the logs inside the Unreal Engine. So just log temp, let's go warning, comma. Here just specify the function that moving forward. If everything works fine, then we should got this log value inside the Unreal Engine. Then we will let our project. Okay, it succeeds. Go back to the project. We have all the bindings in place. Go to the here, click play, open the, see, we are getting the move forward. We are getting move forward without pressing the button because the axis value run every frame. Okay, just do remember this. The axis binding which we have specified in the project setting, these axis mapping, they run for, per frame. Okay, but the action mapping is are not like it. It is just type the state. Like if we have, when we have pressed the button, it will call the pressed. When we will release the button, it will call the release. So we have the brakes. So let's bind the brakes. Yep. So see, these are the bind axis. Next thing we will do player input bind action. Yep. So first we have to put the name. For the name we have brakes. Yep. Next thing, see, the e input event is like when you want to call this function. I want to call when I press the button. So uh, next I have to this. Next I have to put the function name. So and ac underscore break pressed. See, so see, in if you will go to, click left control button, and if you will click on the bind action, you have this function, these function list, sorry, the variable list to fill. Action name we have put right. Next is the input, e input event. We have click, we are calling this function when we will press the button. Next, where is the function, the class we have to specify. So it is this class, the ch underscore car base. Okay, so next I want to breaks released. So I will just ie underscore released, and I will call the break released. Okay, so now we have to check these bindings. So I will just copy the log and click here. I will just delete it from the upper. Now you we will check if we are getting this function at every, we are getting this log at uh, every frame or not. Okay, so break pressed. Okay, so it's compiled. Just press play. See, now I am pressing the button, so I am getting this. Okay, so these, I think we should wrap up our tutorial till here because it is already 33 minutes. So let's call it a day, and in the next car, because we don't have much to do now because we already have the structure like before. Okay, so take care. If you like the tutorial, please like and subscribe. Thank you.